To frame my behemoth diamond painting, I used a extra large piece of black foam core. I took my painting, I varnished it with Mod Podge down in the cracks, wiping it clean so that it'd still be shiny. I trimmed it down on the painting to not up to the diamonds, but up to the actual print, because the print has some sticky along the edge of it, about 1/8 of an inch. I left that so that when I stuck my paper on, it would stick down right at it without having to add any glue, because that glue is pretty sticky for paper. I took my painting, and once I got it trimmed, I put it on the board with 4 strips of this stuff from Hobby Lobby. It's pretty expensive. It's like $5.50 per package, and it takes 2 packages to do 4 strips. And I did them so that the sides, it was right at the edge of the painting, because this stuff is real sticky and it's real kind of thick. And then I did another one in the middle, and then another one on the other edge, and then some pieces between those 2. So I guess that's not 4 strips, that's 5 strips. And then I actually, between those strips, I actually just used a score pal tape to put along this edge, so that it stayed unwrinkled, because it kind of wants to wrinkle up, you know, because it's kind of, you know, it's fabric. So it wants to kind of wrinkle. So I used score pal tape, the 1/2 inch along the edges that didn't have the solid piece of the glue tape. And then I took the foam core and I trimmed it so that my project was centered on the piece of foam core that I cut. Laid it out, measured it all the way around, and then just trimmed it. And then I put score pal tape right up next to the canvas part, the 1/2 inch tape. I put it right up, butted up to the fabric that was still there. And I took my paper and I overcut it in size and laid it right up next to the diamonds, pressed it down real good, and I covered the actual foam core with tacky glue, because that holds paper the best, and glued it down with the tacky glue. If I had it to do over, I would probably take the foam core and actually glue a piece of fabric to it and glue my canvas to that fabric, just because you can see where the paper is pieced. I guess you could cover it with a giant piece of paper, or you could actually paint the foam core. The only problem with painting foam core is it will buckle up. So that's what I've done. I think it's pretty sturdy on there. This will not have glass over it. The next one I'm going to do the same way, but I'm going to put it in this frame that actually has a piece of plexiglass over it. This is from Michaels, I believe. Yeah, Studio Decor is Michaels. And it actually has a piece of fiberglass over it. It's not real glass. Plexiglass, I guess you call it. So that's the finished project. I will write on the back of it, or make a little plaque that goes on the back that has when it was completed and by whom, since there's no place to like sign your names on these things. And then I will put the strip that came off the sides along with the name of the pattern. I'll just glue that all to the back of the frame. And the frame that I have is something that I bought at Michael's off their sale table. It was this thing right here, framed. And all I did was take it, it's a piece of micarta. I took it out of the frame. The frame is gold. I'm going to put this in the frame. This is what the frame looks like without out. And then I will put this back in behind it as the backing. That'll keep it nice and firm. Okay, when I've trimmed my foam core, I actually used what came out of the frame, which is this thing here, laid it on the foam core to trim it or to draw around it, so that I make sure I had it exactly the right size. And then my picture was centered on it. And the paper I actually glued on and then went back and trimmed the paper from the back off so that I made sure it was right up next to the edges. And it fits perfectly in the frame. Slide it right in there gently. And I'm gonna put the backing on.